All right. We're in it. Episode 14 of the series we do together. I know I mentioned it last week, but if there's anybody that's like, wishing that I was doing the regular episodes, bringing these libertarian guests on, everything like that, it's the holidays. So it's hard to get schedules to mesh together. So you're going to get some more of these episodes until after, I don't know, at least like New Year's or something. Yeah. And then I'll probably start bringing guests back on a little more regularly. It's just kind of difficult, with the holidays and trying to match up schedules and shit like that. So if you're a fan of this series, it's good news for you. You're going to get a lot more of these.
If you hate this, get over it.
Yeah, if you hate it, well, go back and watch my episode with Mike Termott that I did like 2 weeks ago. The Libertarian presidential candidate. Cool dude. Talked for a long time. It's like an hour and 15 minutes long or something like that. Go knock yourself out. Go back and watch all my previous episodes, actually. As a matter of fact, they're all tremendous. They're all gold. 10 out of 10.
You should actually watch them on a different device or a different streaming service, too,
Yeah. Well, actually, every phone, every computer, everything you have, just have it all play a different episode all at one time. It'll really help the numbers. It won't be any useful for you, but
go to the YouTube channel and start playing it while you sleep. Let it play
that. Episodes. My YouTube channel could, my YouTube channel could use the help. Nobody listens to me on YouTube. Nobody, and that's fine. I mean, I have other, I'm on a million different platforms, but absolutely nobody listens to my YouTube videos, which is a shame because they're kind of the biggest pain in the ass to make. Like out of everything that I do, they're not a pain in the ass, but like uploading this in just regular podcast form, not a big deal. YouTube video, I gotta like make a video, and I mean it's audio only, so I don't have to like edit anything really all that much, but it's just. It takes a little extra time, and nobody listens on YouTube. So, yeah, go to YouTube, subscribe, all that good stuff. We were talking just before we began this. You started watching that, what is it called, Ancient Apocalypse?
Ancient Apocalypse, old Graham Hancock,
Yeah. I always see that thing on my Netflix because I also complain a lot that there's nothing on Netflix for me to watch, and I'll always see that one, like in the recommended shows that it has. And, I'll scroll over to it and I'll hear Joe Rogan talk about Graham Hancock a little bit. And I'll be like, all right, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll tune into that later. And then later never comes. I've not watched the first episode, but you're a couple episodes in. You say it's a good show.
It's one of those ones kind of like when you like listen to him on Rogan, you can kind of tune in and out. You kind of get a gist to what's going on. But, I mean, I'm definitely going to have to rewatch it, Like Cosmos, some shit like that, you watch it just a dozen times because it stays fucking interesting. But no, it's good. It's I don't know. I remember listening to him on Rogan, like that was some of the first shit. It was like his first podcast experience I ever fucking had, really. And like listening to his ass on there talk to Rogan for like fucking 4 hours about nothing, but a bunch of crazy shit that you've never thought about, like And it makes you think everything you've ever learned ever learned is a fucking lie, which, I feel like that's part of growing up. Fucking, he does say some shit on there that kind of fucking was wild. Dude, he's like banned from going to a lot of different like fucking archaeological fucking sites, museums and shit like that because he doesn't like teach their version of history. That's fucking something.
Damn.
What kind of government control shit is that? We're always bringing libertarians on here. What the fuck is going on,
Yeah. I need to bring somebody on to discuss this.
Yeah, we need to get into that shit. We need to fucking There's a few rabbit holes we need to fucking have some special guests on for, but No, I would definitely 10 out of 10 recommend, especially if like you need something to put you to sleep at night because it is one of those shows.
Yeah. So he travels to like different places and shit.
Yeah, all kinds of shit. Just like, like Atlantis is a fucking easy one that he goes to, and like, or not even Atlantis, but like, say what?
He said he goes to Atlantis.
He goes not to like to Atlantis, but like to like there's these weird fucking stone structure things that are like stacked up like a road that are like under the ocean near the fucking Bahamas on this certain spot or something like that. And it all looks like it's all underwater, and it's just like, if like sea level or some shit changed some years ago, there could possibly be a whole city of people that is, underwater now. And not even at one time, It's just like he just goes to shit like that. They let him in there, They let him in most of these places, I think, but like, it's good. It's good shit. I guess I can't really think of good fucking examples. I'm also usually falling asleep as I'm watching this, so like,
Yeah.
recalling the specifics is tricky, but no, it's still good.
Yeah, that is dope. It is pretty cool to be banned from places like that because you think differently. That is wild. Like, no, you can't be here. You're not a part of the hive mind. You don't buy into all the propaganda, so you have to leave.
The history propaganda. That's good.
Yeah, we've been on a little bit of a just over this past week talking to one another, kind of like a conspiracy kick, And I feel like there's been some things in the news that kind of bolstered that a little bit. I know I haven't listened to any of these things, but they did happen. Megyn Kelly interviewed like John Benet Ramsey's dad. This is a different kind of conspiracy, but and then I think it was Robert Kennedy Jr.
Went on Tucker Carlson's shit.
Yeah, and he tweeted out after he did. He said something about. I haven't listened to that either. Probably should have listened to both of those before we did this, but I didn't know they would come up. But yeah, he said Tucker's newscast, his interview with him, that whole newscast was like the most. Was it like the bravest? I forget how he worded it. Just like the bravest newscast in the past 50 years, or however he said it. And he went on Twitter and he called his, his uncle JFK. He called his assassination the biggest coup in our country's history. Which is,
I need to go watch that.
Definitely need to go watch that. We got to talking about the Las Vegas shooting a little bit earlier this week. Just been on a pretty good conspiracy kick. I do definitely need to watch that show. Go back and watch these interviews. We should do like a whole, I don't know that this is what this podcast has to be, but we should do like a whole conspiracy thing where we dive into some of that.
Yeah, get into the good ones.
Maybe we could bring on a guest, like an expert of some kind, but like an actual expert, not somebody who really knows their shit.
Not just some guy on YouTube that fucking believes some crazy shit.
Yeah, somebody who has done like hundreds of hours of research, gone down all the rabbit holes, makes 5-hour long videos on the conspiracy we're talking about. That kind of guy.
Yeah, no, definitely
That's where I get all my news. Crazy YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Who needs the New York Times, the Washington Post, any of that garbage?
That shit is actually garbage. I feel like there is a middle ground somewhere between the crazy YouTubers though, but maybe not. Maybe they actually are on it. I guess they are just fucking other humans that look at shit.
Some of them are definitely off the rocker. You definitely shouldn't take anything you hear on YouTube as absolute fact, especially not from those guys. Some of those guys are real crazy.
You shouldn't take anything as absolute fact.
Nothing from any source, really. I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of one single source where if I read from it, I'm like, yes, so, what they're telling me is 100% true. Like, I'm not confident in anybody. It's like it's people delivering information to me in the way that they see fit, and they're affected by all these other contributing factors. I mean, you should definitely look at everything you read, hear, everything like that with a little healthy skepticism.
In fact, there's some things, you can, like a medical textbook, but I don't even know. I mean, then you can get like a pretty good, that stuff, they shouldn't be trying to lie to you. Some stuff maybe, but like, general first aid stuff, CPR, they're not really trying to pull your leg. That's not something anybody fucking says anymore.
No, you definitely don't want a CPR type thing lying to you, giving you bad information. That's really when you need the best information possible.
But even that information changes every fucking couple years. So it's still just a fucking guess.
Especially when it comes to like medicine. That's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down. And like,
Shit.
but like just I don't know, just the medical community and everything like that. I was actually reading an article about like, there's like an increasing amount of parents, want to have the say in like what vaccines their kids get when they go into school. Cause you got to get vaccinated if you're going to attend public school, and a lot of parents, after all the COVID shit and everything like that, a lot of them are, they're feeling that these vaccines might be unsafe for their kids. And the article that I read was talking about more than just COVID vaccines, but I mean, I think it's definitely fair, especially in the aftermath of like everything that happened with COVID over the past however many years we're at now, everything that's happened with like the CDC and the changing science and all this different kind of stuff. I mean, it's hard to blame parents for being skeptical. Not that like, I mean, there are definitely vaccines. I don't have a problem with like public schools mandating that kids get like the measles vaccine, or something like that.
Shit.
Do what?
Like polio and shit like that.
Oh yeah. Like polio, stuff like that. Stuff that is like preventable. Like the vaccine will prevent your kid from getting whatever the fuck. It works. I mean, we've like with polio, we've basically eradicated that shit from existence. Those kinds of vaccines, I don't care. I like people should mandate those for kids. Like I know parents might feel a little unsafe, but we don't need to bring polio back.
It also doesn't like, that's just another example of trusting the science, and what you read is all that shit about it making your kid fucking special needs and all that shit. Fucking, that was all based on just total nonsense. But anyways.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely was. Anyone who's like, I mean, I've definitely known people that were on that train, like the vaccines cause autism train. I feel like it got real popular there a couple of years back. I feel like there was like a spike in parents being real cautious about vaccines, and of course now with COVID, that same population is concerned again, albeit about a different vaccine. But if you do actually go back and look into that study, it's been so long since I've done it. I couldn't recite any of the details, but like the dude that published the study making that claim that vaccines cause autism, his study was straight up garbage.
Dude, I think they looked at 13 kids, and they did not determine before the kids got the vaccines and stuff, if they maybe had autism. So they just definitely brought in 13 kids with autism, and were like, was this caused by vaccines? And they're like, yes. Like there's nothing behind it.
Yeah, they also, if I remember correctly, he also said that he conducted his, I guess experiments. I really don't know what you want to call them, but he said he did it on like X amount of kids. And then it turns out that he did it on a fraction of those kids, and he just multiplied the results by like 3 or 4 or whatever. So, that his sample size would look bigger. He literally just duplicated the same data multiple times and was like, yes, we tested this on this many kids, but he didn't. He tested it on like a third or a fourth of those kids that he said he did. It's real garbage. The study is actually like hilariously bad if you start looking into some of those details about it. Definitely would not call myself an anti-vaxxer by any means. That's not a label that I would like or attach to myself, but I think it's fair for parents to not want their kids to get the COVID vaccine, for school and shit. Why?
Yeah.
Why would we make them get it? It doesn't prevent COVID. It does not stop the spread of COVID. They are in like the lowest, risk group. Why make them get it? It just doesn't make any sense. And I can definitely understand parents wanting to make that choice for their kid. I mean, much in the same way that we let, like other people make the decision for themselves. Like it makes sense that parents should be able to make that decision for the kid.
I think it's probably nothing new is going to, like, other than that's why there's a big push for that now, is straight up because the COVID thing, nothing else. I'm sure most people would want their kids to get all those other vaccines. The normal, safe ones,
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember exactly what the article said, but it did say like an overwhelming majority of parents are cool with like, the vaccines that everybody gets now. It's just the COVID one makes them a little uneasy. And I mean, that's fair. I mean, I can't really hate on anyone for being a little skeptical there. And I mean, this is also, I think last week, maybe the FDA authorized COVID shots for children 6 months and under. So I mean, it is available to these kids, but I don't really think the school system should be the one that's forcing them to get it. If parents want to have their kids get the shot, I mean, I guess that's their right, as their parent,
as the legal guardian,
Yeah, I mean, it would just, it would just stand to reason that parents should have the ability to make that decision for their kid. I mean, I'm not really on board with like young children having bodily autonomy and being able to make decisions for themselves like they're young children.
I don't
their
think
parents obviously need to be the one making that decision. That's that's another rabbit hole we could dive down with somebody. Twitter, they just brought back some of the controversial scientists that were talking against the vaccine and everything like that. Dr. Robert Malone was one, and there was another real prominent one that I can't remember, but I think they both went on Rogan, and that's when they became, like real popular, and people started focusing in on the stuff they were saying. And, actually, I think they got banned before they went on Rogan. Malone did anyway. I don't know about the other guy. It'd be cool to have somebody in the medical profession on to talk about some of these concerns,
Oh, hell yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it'd be cool because I feel like I've already, I don't know that it's been a focal point in any of my podcasts before this, but like the COVID vaccine has definitely come up in conversations that I had. I mean, I'm talking to libertarians here. Of course, they hate vaccine and mask mandates. Why wouldn't they? They're libertarians after all. So it's like, it's come up, and I've had, discussions with people about it, but I've never really dived into it with anyone. And I feel like with it would be a little more interesting to have on somebody who's in the medical field versus like a libertarian politician. Not that I don't enjoy talking with libertarian politicians about how much we hate mask mandates and vaccine mandates, but it'd be cool to have someone who has like a medical background,
Diversify the guests a little bit,
Yeah.
Maybe there's a medical professional libertarian candidate running somewhere.
There probably is, honestly.
For sure, somewhere.
Yeah. Or there will be, since we're still kind of early in the 2024 cycle, although it is gearing up. People are getting ready. I mean, Trump's in, he had his big announcement this past week. His massive announcement that he hyped up.
Was that this past week?
Yeah, with the NFTs, those stupid ass NFTs.
Oh, that's stupid shit. I thought you meant just his whole fucking announcement to run again.
Oh, no. No, just because he hyped up he was like, I have a major announcement coming tomorrow. And then he drops his NFT line the next day. That was his major announcement.
That's
hilarious.
So
It's very stupid.
And they're stupid little fucking trading cards. They're digital. That's ridiculous,
Yeah.
Fucking.
They look so goofy. I never bought into the fucking NFT thing. It doesn't really. I feel like I don't even know enough about it to talk about it, but just seeing the Trump NFT things and to see the way people were roasting them online was pretty funny.
I think the technology, blockchain thing for NFT things like house deeds is a very good thing. It gives you a digital way to have something important. It also lets you, like, if there's a third world country that they just pass on fucking deeds to land by word of mouth, it lets them get a digital current or a digital form of that so they can, like, get a loan from a World Bank, and prove they have assets. But anyways, that's where I think the perks of NFTs are. But yeah, whatever, you continue with what you're saying.
I mean they definitely, I could definitely see them having some use,
but not a trading card of a fucking president that has a superhero body. That's so stupid. What the fuck is that going to do for anybody? If you gave a real fucking actual card away, that'd still be really stupid, but it'd be better,
Yeah. Oh yeah, some politician trading cards would be good. I'm sure that exists.
Yeah, DeSantis did that. He sent out his college fucking what sport did he play? Football card or something?
Oh, I think he played baseball, right?
Yeah, fucking I don't know.
Maybe
baseball.
not. I do remember that though. Damn, I had forgotten all about that. He did do that though.
That's solid.
That's not bad. I mean, I don't know. It's better than releasing a bunch of goofy ass NFTs. I said this before, or when we were talking earlier, but just in case, it wasn't clear to everybody that Trump is just grifting his way along. I feel like the NFT release kind of, I don't know. If it's not obvious by now, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. It's been obvious all along. If you think that Trump is doing anything out of the goodness of his heart and not with the sole purpose of enriching himself and his family, then you're a fool.
No one's still shilling any kind of cryptocurrency is doing anything but grifting.
Yeah, it's really all that is. There was some other interesting 2024 stuff that's gone on over the past week and a half. Is Kirsten Sinema becoming an independent?
Good for her.
Yeah, she's obviously got 2024 in mind. It's an interesting move. I mean, it puts all the pressure on the Arizona Democratic Party on whether they want to run a candidate or not, and give up control of that seat to a Republican. And there are Democrats that are looking at hopping in. I know Ruben Gallego has started hiring some staff and doing a little fundraising and everything like that. He's looking at jumping in that race. And I mean, it has pretty big implications for 2024. That's going to be a state that everybody looks at. Everybody's been looking at it for the previous, I don't even know how many elections. And yeah, I mean, I think if a Democrat runs, Sinema runs, and a Republican runs, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Democrats would lose that seat. I mean, Sinema's putting all of her chips in. She's heard the criticism. She knows people want her out of the party. They want her gone. She leaves the party. She goes all in, says, if you want me out, fine. But you are going to give this seat up to a Republican. You're not just going to replace me with a Democrat you like better. I think it's an interesting move.
It's interesting. I wonder how it'll go.
Yeah, I wonder because Gallego would be a pretty significant challenger, veteran, incumbent congressman. Seems to be pretty popular. I don't know that he really had any issue winning re-election. He would be a very strong candidate that ran. I haven't really heard of any other Democrats, like prominent Democrats, that are willing to hop in. But he would be a strong one. Yeah, and I mean, when the Senate, control of the Senate is, Democrats have it by one seat now. It was 50-50 from 2020 until these previous elections. I mean, the Senate is, any state that's going to be remotely competitive, like within 10 points or so, is going to have a focus on it. And Arizona is one of those states.
Arizona's a close one. It's one. I feel like it's going to be. Well, I don't know. The past two elections, it's become one of the fucking main spots. It's solidified itself as a very purple state. Very much, split ticket voters, which is good. People need to be fucking thinking, using their brains.
Yeah, I like the just the fact that the voters there in Arizona are not just going to fall in line behind party lines. The fact that they will consider a Democrat or a Republican, if the conditions are right. I really like. Like, I mean, in this past election, they had the option of voting for, a slate of Democrats and a slate of election denying Republicans. I mean, they had a crazy attorney general candidate. They had Carrie Lake. She's somebody that, could possibly run in 2024 for Sinema's seat. And the Arizona voters said, no, thanks. We're gonna give the Democrats a try, see how that goes. I mean, you can't, like, Arizona is just not a state where you can run those like hardcore election denying Trump acolyte type candidates. You just can't. You can't do it in Arizona. You can do it in a bunch of other places and you'll have success and they'll win and everything like that. Arizona is not like that. If you don't give Arizona voters a little more to think about, a little more to grab onto, more of a reason to actually vote for you instead of just being anti-Biden or anti-Trump for that matter, then you're not going to win their vote. And I think that's apparent by the senators that they've elected. Mark Kelly and Kristen Sinema are two of the most moderate Democrats in the Senate. Kelly's a better senator than Sinema, but I don't know. I think it's I think it's a pretty interesting state politically. West Virginia, also Sinema's buddy in crime. A lot of the time, Joe Manchin is also up for re-election in 2024. He's good. I mean, I assume he'll run. I don't really have any reason to believe he won't. But I know, I can't remember his name. It escapes me. But one of the guys running against him follows the podcast, and I'm going to try to have him on like beginning of next year. What was his name? He's like the treasurer for West Virginia. Yeah, I don't know. Shit. I'll think of it later, whatever it is. But like that's another state where like Joe Manchin is running for re-election. The party has kind of made him feel like he's not super welcome.
I heard him say, I think I saw something today that he said he was there's no chance he was leaving the Democratic Party. But, words fucking, don't mean that much to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I don't know. Yeah. I definitely, I don't know that he'll change parties. It'd be interesting if he did, but he is Democrats' only hope in West Virginia. Like Arizona could elect another Democrat than Sinema. It's not impossible. It is impossible if you run another Democrat, her, and a Republican. But like if Joe Manchin is not the Democrats' guy in West Virginia, that seat goes red, and it goes deep red. And Democrats have just been throwing him under the bus this whole time. I mean, we've talked about it before, but they just throw him under the bus for everything that goes wrong, and they just expect him to fall in line and keep his mouth shut and not complain too much. It's ridiculous how they treat him.
Yeah, no, it is. And they're fucked without him, too. So he'd be smart to stay there, I think. He could go independent, but I think he's probably waiting to do something like that till he sees how it plays out for old Sinema and everybody else who might be doing that,
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be nice if the Democrats let Manchin have a few more wins, Actually, that one of the things that he wanted they just passed a big defense bill in the Senate. Not a bad thing to talk about either. That thing is massive, and it has a bunch of stuff in it that is interesting. $858 billion, 8% increase from the previous budget for the Defense Department. That's a lot of money. That is a ton of money. I wish I had the chart in front of me of like all the countries and how much they spend on national defense. It's a fun chart. But Joe Manchin wanted in that bill, there's a bunch of shit in the bill. Joe Manchin wanted funding for like a natural gas pipeline in West Virginia. And it seems like it'd be an easy thing to squeeze into a bill that's spending $858 billion. And they left it out. They just didn't include it in the final bill. There's another thing that got left out too that was notable. It doesn't have to do with Manchin, but They were going to throw something in that bill for weed companies to be able to have like access to banks and shit like that. Because, you know, whenever you go into a dispensary, you got to pay in all cash, you know, all that shit. It's annoying.
Yeah.
You know, and they got all them ATMs right there just begging you to withdraw some money with their fucking like $20.
Motherfuckers just
Oh,
fucking.
yeah. Oh, in Vegas, it was like straight up a fucking like $16, $17 charge to withdraw money out of like any ATM. Absolutely ridiculous. But they were going to throw something like that into the bill too, you know, to allow weed companies to have that kind of access. They left that shit out too. You know, two pretty good things that definitely should have made it into a bill. And it's like, yeah, it would add on to the final total and shit, but like, come on.
Why did they leave that out?
I just don't think they wanted to include it. I think maybe there were, it was a little, they didn't think, I don't know that they thought the bill would pass if those two things were in there. So they left them out.
That sucks.
Yeah, really sucks for Joe Manchin and weed companies getting the short end of the stick here. I mean, you know, I'm not a massive fan of us passing this enormous budget for the Defense Department. I mean, you know, I support the troops and everything, but $858 billion? Do you need all that money really? That's a lot. That's significant. And of course, like any other bill that's, you know, 8,000 pages long, they didn't read it. Nobody read it. Nobody knew what was in it till after it was passed. You know, it's just like you can't find a little bit of room for some of this extra stuff.
Shit. That's so much more. That's just military spending?
Yeah, that's just the defense budget.
$858 billion.
Yeah.
That's fucking so stupid. How much money have we sent to Ukraine?
That is a good thing that I wish I knew the answer to. I forget. It did include some money for Ukraine. I just cannot remember how much. It included $10 billion for Taiwan, as a matter of fact, for a defense mobilization program.
Damn.
And I forget how. I can't remember how much. Probably, you know, 100 million and some China, maybe a couple 100 million for Ukraine. Who even knows? It's a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money to package into one bill and just ship it off. Nobody's read the thing. Nobody knows what's in it until after it passes. It's a big thing to just pass and then, like, you know, and then worry about what's in it. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. I remember like years and years ago when the defense budget was closer to like 700 billion or maybe even less than that. And like people were debating how much money that was back then. And now, you know, now it's at 858 billion.
Has any president ever brought it down, or was it just Eisenhower?
You know, I don't know. I don't imagine it's gone down in our lifetime.
No, I don't think so. We've always been in some sort of conflict.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely. it definitely didn't go down during W's administration, but like Obama, Trump, Biden, like I feel like if any of them had ever decreased the defense budget, we would know about it.
Yeah.
But one thing that was in the bill, just to bring it back to COVID vaccines, it repealed the vaccine mandate for troops.
I saw that. I know their recruiting numbers are way down. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. And I know that was like the big thing that Biden was against. It's like he didn't want them to repeal the vaccine mandate for the troops. But I actually don't know if he signed the bill yet. I don't know that he has. I don't know exactly what day it passed, but I imagine he will sign it regardless. I don't imagine he'll veto a big defense bill like that. But obviously, repealing the vaccine mandate for troops is, I think it's a no-brainer. You know, I mean, if you're going to have everybody else in the country being able to decide whether they should get it or not, you know, there's no real need to make the troops get it. And like you said, it's got to help with recruitment numbers.
It's got to help with the recruitment numbers. Yeah, like nobody wants that shit if they don't need it, you know.
Yeah. Now, what I don't think it did, and I've seen other Republican congressmen talk about it, is they want to go further, which probably would not have been possible in this bill anyway, just because they wanted to make sure that it passed with no issue and everything like that. But I know other Republican politicians want to not just repeal the vaccine mandate, but also reinstate troops that were discharged for it and give them back pay.
That'd be good.
Yeah, which I would also, I'd be in favor of all of that. Absolutely ridiculous. We were discharging people.
Some people are doing that shit with cops and city service people and all that shit. I think that's
They should.
That's a city level. I forgot where I saw that, but I know some people are. In New York, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, they should. I mean, especially now. I mean, I don't know. You can give people some leniency, I guess, during the pandemic for, wanting everybody to get the vaccine. But like knowing what we know now, fucking 3 years into this damn thing, I don't know how anybody would feel right defending people losing their job for not getting the COVID vaccine. It's unthinkable to me. Like that, having that position is just so unconscionable. You're gonna take away somebody's livelihood because they don't want to get the shot.
Yeah, it's a little bit fucked. Yeah, it's like that's how they put food on the table. The people who bitch about that don't think about putting food on the table. They're usually working a job where it's like, it's not the same. They don't have to go fucking. They're not emptying the trash.
Yeah. They just don't think about it that way. They don't. Oh, I feel like a lot of the people who are in favor of that kind of thing, they're probably younger, more liberal, all that kind of stuff. Like they're not thinking about the guy that just got fired from his job for not getting the vaccine, that has like a wife and kids. It's got a mortgage on the house. It's got all this fucking bullshit that he's got to pay for that he can't now because you fired him from his job for not wanting to get a vaccine that doesn't prevent infection or spread.
Yeah, and there may have been another reason. You don't even know why he didn't want to get it. And also a lot of times they're hoping these people are Republicans and shit.
Yeah,
that was the name of the game.
Yeah, just to inflict some sort of punishment on Republican voters. And which one I would say is not true. I mean, maybe the overwhelming, or maybe the majority of people who didn't get the COVID vaccine are Republicans, but it's definitely not true of like everyone who didn't refuse to get it. I mean, I've not gotten any boosters. I did get the first two, but I mean, I'm not a Republican, And I know plenty of people. I know liberal people who have not gotten the vaccine just because they don't want to. They simply just don't want to. They don't want to get it. And that's that. And they shouldn't have to. That's another thing too that I think is a little irritating. Is like when you mention to somebody, usually because they ask whether you're up to date on your shots. So, they'll usually say it kind of like that. If you've gotten all your shots, are you up to date? That kind of thing. And you'll say you're not, and then they're like, well, why? Why? I don't have to explain to you why. I shouldn't have to. I don't think it's any of your goddamn business. I didn't want to get it. It's a personal medical decision. I didn't want to get any of the boosters. Never mind what you think about. I don't care what you think about it. I don't know why do they have to justify their decision in not getting it? Why can they just not get it?
Well, because they're following the science, dude. They have to fucking
following the science.
No, either side bothers me. If you want to it's your own fucking body. Do what you want with it. But I understand there's fucking, I don't know. It's hard to know. I don't. If it causes problems down the road, I've heard of it causing problems for some people. You read about it on the internet, but I don't know how many people I actually know who it's caused a problem for. That we know about, But like, that's the whole thing about it too. Is like the years that the COVID shot was coming out, like, humans were also fucking finally going back to doctors for regular checkups. Like the amount of cancer that was found and shit like that. during
Oh
COVID,
yeah.
like when hospitals opened back up, was like a lot because people were missing appointments and shit. So, like it's hard to
Oh
know
yeah.
what a vaccine is causing and what everything else is just, just happens to happen by chance.
Yeah, and there's definitely overreaction on the right on this. They think like there's some people that think like everything that's gone wrong with them since they've gotten vaccinated is because of the vaccine, and that's definitely not true. I mean, I've seen people talking about like I don't. You'll see people talk about symptoms and everything like that, and it's like I don't know that I would be as confident that you are that was caused by the vaccine. Maybe you just developed some shit. Maybe you just got sick. I don't, I don't think the vaccines are like evil, like a lot of people seem to think. I just didn't want to get them,
Yeah.
and I did get them. I did get the first two because, like in the beginning, I was genuinely concerned for like my health and the people around me and everything like that. But as I started reading a little more into it and started doing some of my own research, which is a thing I know liberals love to hear, doing my own research, reading stuff myself. I just decided that the boosters weren't really for me, that I didn't want to get them. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some great studies and some great evidence will come out that will change my mind, but not holding my breath.
I feel like you're a little bit too far behind. If you were up to date, you'd be on like your fucking 7th one,
I know it's a lot.
It's a lot. There's no way that shit could be good for you.
Yeah. Also, just to be fair for me personally, I don't like needles. I don't like getting shots, anything like that. So, convincing myself to not get the booster shots was not that difficult. It was probably never going to be that difficult of a thing to do. I haven't even gotten a flu shot.
No, I don't fuck with needles either. I agree with you there. Shit makes me fucking want to pass out.
Oh yeah, it makes my palms all sweaty and shit just thinking about it. Yeah, no, not for me. But like everyone who wants to can follow that science right off a cliff if they want to. I'm good. I'll stay here. Damn, I didn't mean to spend most of this episode talking about COVID vaccines. It's just kind of where my brain has gone in these later hours.
I feel like we're coming up on a fucking holiday anyway, so the news is a little slower. I think next week it'll probably be us again, so we might do that one in person.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'll be in town soon. We will be in the same vicinity.
That's good.
The same house for a minute anyway.
For a minute, yeah.
Definitely be cool to record like an in-person podcast. We haven't done that. Like this is our 14th episode together, and they've all been.
No, we did one. Virtual. I thought we did one.
Did we?
I don't know.
I don't think we did, man.
Shit.
I don't think we haven't hung out in quite some time. I've been like working and shit down here.
Yeah. Fucking.
You've been working. I've been working. Like I said, schedules are hard to match up.
Shit, yeah.
It's difficult. But yeah, no, we will do this again next week. It'll be in person, or this week, I guess. It'll be in person. That'll be cool. It'll be the holiday time. Also, this past news week was slow. Maybe this next news week will pick up. Because I was looking back through shit that just happened like through the week, and it wasn't as much of a news-packed week as some other ones. But like you expect that going in. Was there like any big news thing that I don't know that we haven't discussed on this thing that we?
This isn't really big news, but Brittney Griner is going to use her platform and is going to do other things to advocate for the release of Paul Whelan. So, fucking.
Oh, yeah.
She hears you, she sees you. When the people were complaining.
Damn, that was something that was in the notes for last week, but it just didn't quite make it. But Brittney Griner's home. Woo!
Dude, it's a big thing. Now we'll be able to tune in and really watch her play for the Phoenix Sparks or whatever the fuck,
I think she did say she wanted to come back, right? She wanted to play in
Oh yeah, well,
America.
fucking of course. How many fucking 7-foot women do you know? Fuck yeah, she's coming back.
Yeah. So, I'm sure the stadiums will be jam packed.
Show me another way she can make fucking $200,000 a year.
Get your tickets now. That thing will be booked,
They will be
sold
gone.
out, son. Be the most attended game in WNBA history. With a total of 200 people.
200 people, goddamn. What a fucking thing. Dude, WNBA. That's, if they just would lower the goal and make the ball a little bit smaller, it'd be so much better.
Yeah, they started like dunking on people and stuff.
8.5-foot goal is what they need.
Yeah. See, yeah. I mean, you got to do something to drive up viewership. Not, not that I want to shit on the NBA or the WNBA for the final 15 minutes, but Griner coming home was a big thing that we did not discuss, and it would be an interesting time to state that I did poke a little fun at Brittney Griner there, but I don't support these kind of exchanges at all. Period. Just like as a policy, I think it's bad policy. And it makes sense why she comes back, and she wants to try to help free Paul Whelan and everything like that. It makes sense why she wants to do that, but I don't. I think it's bad policy to trade for Americans like that because it puts other Americans in danger. Like if a foreign country knows that they can get something that they want, and all they got to do is capture an American to do it, then they're going to do it more. Like Brittney Griner was not the first person held captive by the Russian, not the first American, held by the Russian government, and she won't be the last. Like they're gonna capture more people because they know the United States wants to play ball. And to Joe Biden's, just to give him a little credit, I guess. It is pretty unpopular, when people start hearing about Paul Whelan being over there, former Marine, everything like that. Like there is a pretty strong will from the American people for him to bring him back home. Even for Brittney Griner too, there were a lot of Democrats, more liberal types that did want Biden to negotiate for her release, and he did. I don't know that anybody is super comfortable with any American being held by the Russian, any enemy foreign government, but I just think it's bad policy. I think it leads to bad stuff down the road. It puts other people in danger, and also, I have a little bit of problem with like the media coverage of Paul Whelan and his situation. I feel like they don't go into a lot of detail.
Is he a spy or is he not a spy?
So I don't know. I haven't done enough research to say definitively, but I will say, one, he got a bad conduct discharge from the Marines for committing crimes. He got court-martialed, everything like that. Got a bad conduct discharge. And one thing that I noticed was that I didn't see a lot of people in the mainstream media talking about what fellow Marines, fellow servicemen thought about Paul Whelan. And so I did a little digging of my own. And, because he was court-martialed for committing some different crimes and he did get a bad conduct discharge, a lot of the Marines that I saw were not big Paul Whelan fans. Some of them were hesitant to even call him a Marine because he got the bad conduct discharge. Not everyone's of that same opinion. But so he gets discharged from the Marines. And according to his family, he would like brag about knowing a Russian intelligence agent, like someone in the FSB. And he ends up going to Russia for, I believe it was a wedding. I think one of his Marine friends was having a wedding or something along those lines. And Paul Whelan never made the wedding. He didn't go. And instead, he decided to, meet up with his FSB friend. And not long after that meeting, Paul Whelan is arrested, charged with espionage, They said, I think the Russian government said they found like tens of thousands of dollars in cash on him. And they said they found a USB drive that contained the names of Russian intelligence officials. Now, how much of that is true? I don't know. But he did apparently know this person that was in the FSB. You have to assume that, like he hit him up, said he was going to be in Russia, and they ended up meeting. Now, what was discussed at that meeting, what actually occurred, hard to tell. And it doesn't really seem like Paul Whelan is the best source of information on this. 'Cause from what I understand, I've heard other people say that his story has changed a little bit over time, and I think that probably leads that's why some of the information on this is a little unsure. But I think what might have happened is that he was essentially kind of catfished by this FSB agent. You got a bad conduct discharge, disgraced Marine, wants to get back into the good graces, wants to do something good for his country, becomes friends with this Russian intelligence agent, has a reason to go to Russia, hits him up, takes all this cash with him, is going to buy some leaked Russian intelligence from this guy, and gets caught up. Gets like the FSB agent set him up. I think there's a decent possibility that that's what has occurred. Maybe I'm not privy to some information that would, disprove that, but it doesn't sound all that crazy just based on like the information that I've gathered about the situation. So it just kind of bothered me the way they were talking about it. They like American media. I don't know how this shit is covered in like other countries and shit like that, but American media just, they didn't really go into the details of like how Paul Whelan was captured, or any like background information on him, like none of that. They didn't go into any of the details. They didn't give any of that kind of information. They just kind of made it seem like he was a Marine vet that was randomly captured by the Russian government. And that's not what happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we could have got something more out of the trade. We gave up a pretty good guy,
We did do that. Yeah, see, that's the thing too. I said I'm opposed to these exchanges. I think they're bad. And that's I do believe that, but everything is situational. You kind of have to look at the deal. You have to see, you have to at least entertain the deal. You got to look at it, see what you're getting in return, what they would be getting in return. And Russia got the merchant. What do they call him? The merchant of death?
The merchant of death. Got more people killed around the world than anybody else selling AK-47s. Which, there's probably somebody else that's the new merchant of death,
Yeah. That's kind of what I think too. Is like, it's giving Russia back somebody that's called the Merchant of Death doesn't sound good. But I feel like it's probably a similar situation to like ISIS leaders. Like we kill one and then a new one pops up, and then a couple like 2 years later we'll kill him and another one pops up. Like I'm sure Russia has got a number of arms dealers doing their dirty work.
For sure. Definitely.
It's like, how important was it for Russia to get the Merchant of Death back? I don't know. I mean, they obviously wanted him back. They did trade for him. So they obviously have some interest in getting him back. But is it going to be like super detrimental to like world security and stability that the Merchant of Death is back in Russia? Nah, I don't know. Remains to be seen.
Shit. Well, it's hitting fucking 10 o'clock. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up for the evening. I think that's a good landing spot.
That's not bad. That's not bad. We got, let's see, it talked about COVID vaccines. This episode's for sure going to get flagged on like Spotify. You know how they do the COVID notification. This one. Actually, I don't know if any of my other ones have ever been checked for that, but I'll check for that after we get off here. Let's see, made fun of Trump and his goofy NFT shit. Covered the defense bill. Kristen Sinema doing Kristen Sinema shit. And Brittney Griner, yeah, that was one of the things I definitely wanted to talk about last week. Wanted to talk about how I feel that those exchanges are bad, because I feel like that's not a super popular opinion. I imagine it might be among libertarians, but like liberals really wanted Brittney Griner home, conservatives really want Paul Whelan home, and I don't think we should do those exchanges at all.
I think they should both be fucking in Russia still.
Yeah. See, that's the opinion that I wanted to put out there into the ether, just to, I imagine a fair amount of the audience for the podcast will agree, but I don't think that's a very popular opinion, though. I think that's a pretty hot take.
Shit, that's all right.
Not bad. And we're going to do this shit again here in a few days when I'm back in town. I'm going to be doing it in person. Hopefully it's a good news week leading into Christmas.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. Shit. Well,
yeah, that's it for us. We're wrapping it up here. Be another one of these episodes next weekend, or next Monday, rather, for Christmas. Get a new episode like this for Christmas. What could be better?
Fuck yeah, what could be better?
All right, we're out.
Shit.